The hour of 11 a.m. having arrived, the House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Sergeants at arms, please close the doors of the House. Prayer today will be offered by our colleague, Representative Vinkett. Immediately after prayer, we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Members and guests, please rise as able.
Good morning, colleagues. Last week, Hindus, including my family, Sikhs, Jains, and Buddhists celebrated Diwali, the Festival of Lights, which we have recognized through Act 112 of 2024 as a state holiday. In that context, it's a great privilege to present a Hindu prayer today, a mantra. I will be reciting a prayer from the Hindu text, the Upanishads, to give an invocation to Lokakshama, which is harmony for all of creation. I will recite my prayer twice in Sanskrit and once in English. Please pray or contemplate as appropriate. Om Sarvesham Svastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Om Sarvesham Svastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om, let there be well-being for all, let there be peace for all, let there be completeness for all, and let there be auspiciousness for all. Om, peace, peace, peace.
I pledge allegiance. Sergeant at Arms will open the doors of the House. Members and guests, please take your seats. Without objection, the approval of the Journal from Monday, October 27th, 2025 will be postponed until printed. Colleagues, if you can take your seats. We have some very special guests, including former members that are here today. Please take your seats, colleagues. This morning, colleague, we will take up a condolence resolution to honor one of our former colleagues. We are excited, before we do that matter of business, to welcome the family of the late former House member, Representative Ed Lusick, who served his neighbors in the 123rd Legislative District in both Columbia and Schuylkill counties from 1981 until 2002. We are so excited to have today the family of this former member, Representative Lusick, his lovely daughter Tara, who I had in my office. Please stand. We have her husband Todd. We have their daughter Margot. We have her brother Matt, and we are thrilled to have Representative Lusick's successor, our former colleague, Representative Neil Goodman, was the caucus administrator in our caucus for quite a while, and someone who previously held the chair's position, former Speaker of the House, Representative Keith McCall. Please stand. We also have in our midst Senator Argyle, who is present on the floor of the House today for this honor, and we have former Congressman Tim Holden, and we are so excited, thanks to our colleague, both Representative Twardzik and Representative Brennan, for bringing this family here. Please stand. We look forward to honoring the life of Representative Lusick. Thank you. Our colleague that serves Centre County has seated to the left of the Speaker's rostrum this morning. Representative Benninghoff brings to the floor of the House the 2025 Centre County Grange Fair Queen, Grace Novosel. Grace is active in cheerleading. She's also a member of the Future Farmers of America, the National Honor Society, the Girl Scouts, 4-H livestock judging. She is going to be studying agricultural education, and she is here with her mother, Miss Billy, and Ashley Furman from the Grange Fair, who is her aunt. Please stand, and congratulations, Grace. Our colleague that serves Berks County, Representative Cepeda Freitas, has 3 guests on the left of the Speaker's rostrum this morning. We are thrilled to have in our midst Dr. Sarah Inez Ramirez. She is an associate professor of family and community medicine at Penn State Health. She has founded the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Medical Association. She is the president of the co-leads public health programming for the Latino Connection Foundation, and she's the co-founder of the Pennsylvania Maternal Health Collaborative. Dr. Ramirez, welcome to the floor of the House. In the rear of the House, it is the honor of the Speaker to have members of MGAGE Pennsylvania here. We are thrilled to have MGAGE and the Council on American Islamic Relations as a part of their Muslim Lobby Day. The members have traveled from all over the Commonwealth, from each corner. They are joined by my good friend Salima Suswell, the National Senior Advisor for MGAGE, and Ahmad Tegalu, the Executive Director for CARE Philadelphia. With CARE and MGAGE, please stand. Welcome to the floor of the House. Assalamu alaikum. Our colleagues that serve Philadelphia County, Representative Harris and Representative Brown, have the African American Charter School Coalition in the back of the House. They have African American founded and led public charter schools along with parents that have come from all across the city of Philadelphia that are here today with these students from all over. Please stand. We're so honored to have you. Representative Malagary, who serves Montgomery County, has guests in the back of the House. He's thrilled to have the Telford Borough Council former member John Taylor, and we also have, along with him, someone who's worked consistently in a community-first, nonpartisan manner. We have Emmy Weiss, who's also a part of the Telford Borough Council and is the council president. Thank you all for serving Montgomery and Bucks County. Welcome to the floor of the House. Seated to the left of the speaker's rostrum, Representative Cepeda has two more guests. We have Maria Torres Bastante. She is the Pennsylvania chapter for the National Medical Association and represents the Latino Foundation as well. And we have Anthony Ciprian Torres Asrubio, who is the Lancaster City Chair from the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Medical Association. Bienvenidos, welcome. In the back of the House, our colleague that serves Franklin County, Representative Kaufman, has Jenna Whitman. She is a 10th grader at Shippensburg High School, and she is here shadowing her state representative, Representative Kaufman, for the day. Jenna, where are you? Please stand. Welcome to the floor of the House. In the gallery, our colleague that serves Philadelphia, Representative Burgos, has students from John Welsh Elementary School. John Welsh is a school that serves students from K through 8, and they are here for the first time from the 197th District visiting our capital. John Welsh students, welcome to the floor of the House. Please stand. Representative White, who also serves Philadelphia County, has students in the gallery. We have Archbishop Ryan High School, who is here today, along with their Student Government and Ambassador program. Archbishop Ryan, where are you? Welcome to the floor of the House. Our colleagues that serve Bucks County, Representatives Prokopiak and Hogan, have Langhorne 8U travel baseball team. They recently won the District 3 championship, and they also won the Southeastern Pennsylvania State Championship, and they won the Mid-Atlantic Regional Championship. Langhorne 8U, congratulations team, please stand, welcome. Our colleague that serves Westmoreland, Representative Cooper, has members from her legislative district office here in the gallery. We're thrilled to welcome Elena Adams and Corey Alexander. Please stand. Thank you for your hard work back home. Welcome. In the back of the House, our colleague, Representative Rowe, has colleagues from across the state borders. We are excited to have on the floor of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, we have the New Jersey General Assembly members, the Honorable Paul Canitra, the Honorable Dawn Fantasia, the Honorable John DeMayo. From the Maryland House of Delegates to our south, we have the Honorable Robin Grammer, the Honorable Lauren Arakan, the Honorable Mark Fisher, the Honorable Matt Morgan, the Honorable Kathy Sliga, the Honorable Brian Chisholm, and the Honorable Ryan Noraki. Now, from one Commonwealth that does not board this Commonwealth, from the Virginia House of Delegates, we have the Honorable Michael Webert. Welcome, colleagues, to the floor of the Pennsylvania House. Don't forget, this is where it all started. It all started right here. Well, a little bit southeast from here. Are there requests for leaves of absence? The chair recognizes the majority whip, who indicates there are none. The chair recognizes the minority whip, who indicates there are none. The chair is about to take the master roll call. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote. There are 203 members that have voted on the master roll call. A quorum is present. Colleagues, We're about to take up a condolence resolution honoring a former colleague. If you can please take your seats, and if the sergeants at arms can close the doors of the House. We're about to take up a condolence resolution honoring our deceased former colleague, Edward J. Lusick of Schuylkill County. Sergeants at arms will close the doors of the House. Members, please take your seats. The chair recognizes at this time the Majority Leader who calls up House Resolution 359, printer's number 2528, on page 1 of the uncontested House calendar. Will the House agree to the resolution? The clerk will read the resolution.
A resolution expressing condolences on the death of the Honorable Edward J. Lusick of Barnesville, Schuylkill County, former 11-term member of the 123rd District of the House of Representatives. Whereas, born July 29, 1942 in Mahanoy City, Edward J. Lusick died July 7, 2025 at 82 years of age. And whereas, elected to the House of Representatives in 1980, Mr. Lusick faithfully represented the 123rd District from 1981 through 2002. And whereas the House of Representatives notes with respect Mr. Lusick's distinguished pursuits and achievements on behalf of the Schuylkill County and Columbia counties, this Commonwealth, and our nation. And whereas a graduate of Mahanoy Area High School, Mr. Lusick received a Bachelor of Science degree from the United States Military Academy at West Point in 1964. And whereas Mr. Lusick served 2 tours of duty in Vietnam, achieving the rank of captain and earning a Bronze Star with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters and the Air Medal, Army Commendation Medal, and Vietnam Service Medal. And whereas, while enlisted, Mr. Lusick graduated with a master's degree in business administration from George Washington University. And whereas, as a legislator, Mr. Lusick dedicated his energies to securing services and assistance for veterans and seniors and advancing environmental and labor initiatives. And whereas Mr. Lusick chaired the House Military and Veterans Affairs Committee and the Tourism and Recreational Development Committee. And whereas to Mr. Lusick, "You've got a friend in Pennsylvania" was the most meaningful of the changing state slogans. And whereas Mr. Lusick further contributed to the important work of the House Appropriations Committee and the Legislative Coal Caucus. And whereas Mr. Lusick's parents, Edward and Lucy Lusick, and his wife Patricia, preceded him in death. And whereas his children, Matthew and Tara, and his grandchildren, Lucy and Margot, survive him. Therefore, be it resolved that the House of Representatives express condolences on the death of the Honorable Edward J. Lusick of Barnesville, Schuylkill County, former 11-term member from the 123rd District of the House of Representatives, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be transmitted to Mr. Lusick's family in care of Tara Lusick Gensler.
The chair thanks the gentlelady. On that question, the chair recognizes the gentleman from Bucks County, Representative Brennan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a great honor to stand before this chamber to remember an exceptional person who spent 22 years serving in this body, Edward E.J. Lusick. Charles Colton once said of leaders that in life we shall find many that are great and some that are good, but very few that are both great and good. E.J. Lusick was one of those rare individuals who excelled at everything he put his mind to, who casually accomplished what many could only dream of, and who etched a legacy of success in every endeavor. However, at the same time, E.J. is best remembered by those who knew him for his loyalty, his compassion, curiosity, integrity, generosity, and collegiality, and his unique humor that accompanied his otherwise rough exterior. E.J. was born and raised in the coal region of Schuylkill County, a place he genuinely loved and lived for. As a young man, he worked with his dad's Polish butcher shop and delivered meats in kibasi. He was a first-team All-State football player in high school and was named to the Big 33 game. His 1959 Montgomery City yearbook described him as, quote, "a must at every party." That is a sentiment I can say that his friends and colleagues carried into the 2020s. He was a West Point graduate in 1964 and served 8 years in the U.S. Army, earned the rank of captain. He served 2 tours in Vietnam, 1965, and then again in 1969, earning a Bronze Star with 2 Oak Clusters, the Air Medal, and the Army Accommodation Medal. During his time in the services, he also somehow earned his MBA from George Washington University, another qualification that he didn't flout that I only learned of after his passing. He was elected to the Pennsylvania House of Representatives in 1981 and served until 2002, including as chair of Veterans Affairs and Tourism. He was, by all accounts, a legend. For me, EJ was my first representative as a child. He had an office on my block in a small town. He became what many of us in this room are for young people, an example, a role model for what we can and might be, a symbol of something to be proud of, our government. I remember him as a 7 or 8-year-old visiting his staff, seeing his office, and being in awe of the job that he did. He ran for election at the first election that I worked in 1988 as an 11-year-old. In my younger years, I remember my mom and dad talking about his work. Then, fresh out of school, almost 25 years ago, I was lucky enough to work with him briefly in the office of his successor, Representative Neil Goodman, who's here today. I always look forward to the days that EJ would be in. He kindly took me under his wing. He told me about his life, his military service, his legislative service, and he quietly confided in me some of his old war stories with EJ's very unique story delivery. Most of the time, it was full of information that I had absolutely no business knowing. My dad always told me, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. What I learned in those years was how well EJ threaded the needle of greatness and goodness. His biggest accomplishment weren't the things I saw as a kid or what you could read in a bio. It was the kind, encouraging, thoughtful person who was ever present behind what he did and what he accomplished. I can only hope to remember his example and how important we are as representatives to those watching us or looking up to us, both by virtue of the titles that we hold and, more importantly, how we carry them. I want to offer my sincere appreciation to the family for sharing EJ with us for all those years. To his brother, Dan, his son, my friend of many years, Matt Lusick, his daughter, Tara Gensler, son-in-law, Todd Gensler, and his pride and joy, his granddaughters, Lucy and Margot. I also want to thank friends and colleagues attending today. Sherry Hammer, his longtime assistant, former Representative Neil Goodman, his successor, former Congressman Tim Holden, and former Speaker McCall. Thank you also to my friend and current Representative Tim Twardzik and Senator Dave Argall for their support to the family and celebration of EJ and his memory. His life was well lived, and we celebrate it and learn from it. Thank you, EJ, and you will certainly be missed, and thank you for your service.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Those in favor of the resolution will rise and remain standing for a moment of silence as a mark of respect for the deceased former member. Guests will also please rise as able. The resolution has been unanimously adopted. Sergeants at Arms will open the doors of the House. The chair wishes to also acknowledge Sherry, former colleague in our caucus. Sherry Hammer is the former longtime staffer in the district office, first for Representative Lusick, and then for Representative Goodman, and now for Representative Twardzik. Sherry, we thank you for all your years of service to your neighbors in Schuylkill. Please stand so we can acknowledge you properly. The chair wishes to acknowledge in the rear of the House Dr. Lucille Booker and the Global Leadership Academy Charter family. Dr. Booker, please stand. Colleagues, let's acknowledge this woman and all she does for our children. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Beaver for a caucus announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Democrats will caucus at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. We will be prepared to return to the floor at 1:30 p.m. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentlelady for a caucus announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Republicans will also caucus at 1 p.m. and plan to return to the floor at 1:30. Again, House Republicans are caucusing at 1 p.m. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Philadelphia, Representative Fiedler, for a committee announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We will hold a voting meeting of the House Energy Committee on House Resolution 350 and G50 Irvis immediately at the break. Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Lackawanna County, Representative Mullins, for a committee announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Appropriations Committee will meet immediately upon the break in the Majority Caucus Room. All members of the Appropriations Committee, please make your way to the first floor caucus room immediately. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. The Majority Leader moves that the following bill be removed from the table calendar and be placed on the active calendar. House Bill 1977, House Bill 1978, House Bill 1979. The House will stand in recess until 1:30 p.m. unless sooner recalled by the Speaker.
The hour of 1:30 having arrived, the House will come to order. The chair has received an actuarial note from the Independent Fiscal Office regarding the following, which the clerk will read.
House Bill 1322, printers number 2363, as amended by Amendment A01855.
Chair refers the following bills, which the clerk will read.
Referrals, October 27, 2025. House Bill 1996, Consumer Protection Technology and Utilities. House Resolution 358, House Bill 1997, both to Health. House Resolution 357, Human Services. House Bill 1994, Judiciary. House Resolution 359, House Resolution 360, both to the uncontested calendar under Rule 35. Referrals, October 28, 2025. House Bill 1971 to Energy.
Chair recognizes Representative Solomon, Chair of the Committee on Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness, who reports the following resolutions. H.R. 15, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. H.R. 355, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. The chair recognizes Representative Daley, Chair of the Committee on Tourism, Recreation, and Economic Development, who reports the following bills. House Bill 1286, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The chair recognizes Representative Daley, Chair of the Committee on Tourism, Recreation, and Economic Development, who reports the following resolutions. H.R. 326, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. H.R. 329, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. H.R. 353, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. Chair recognizes Representative Burns, Chair of the Committee on Professional Licensure, who reports the following bills. HB 1251, reported as amended. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. HB 1961, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. HB 1980, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Senate Bill 507, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The chair recognizes Representative Hill Evans, Chair of the Committee on State Government, who reports the following bills. HB 468, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. HB 1113, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. HB 1304, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. HB 1417, reported as amended. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The chair recognizes Representative Hill Evans, Chair of the Committee on State Government, who reports the following resolutions. H.R. 153, reported as amended. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. H.R. 162, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. H.R. 324, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. H.R. 342, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. H.R. 347, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. H.R. 348, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. The chair recognizes Representative Dawkins, Chair of the Committee on Labor and Industry, who reports the following bills. HB 135, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. HB 1990, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. HB 1995, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The chair recognizes Representative Fiedler, Chair of the Committee on Energy, who reports the following resolutions. H.R. 350, reported as amended. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. Chair recognizes Representative Jordan Harris, Chair of the Committee on Appropriations, who reports the following bills. HB 1063, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. HB 1860, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. HB 1862, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. HB 1882, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. Chair refers following bills, which the clerk will read.
Referrals, October 28, 2025. House Bill 1998, Labor and Industry, and Senate Bill 755-2, State Government.
Chair is in receipt of the following extract from the Journal of the Senate, which the clerk will read.
Clerk of the Senate being introduced, presented the following extract from the Journal of the Senate, which was read as follows. Monday, October 27th, resolved, the House of Representatives concurring, pursuant to Article 2, Section 14 of the Pennsylvania Constitution, that when the Senate recesses this week, it reconvene the week of Monday, November 17th, 2025, unless sooner recalled by the President Pro Tem of the Senate. And be it further resolved, pursuant to Article 2, Section 14 of the Pennsylvania Constitution, that when the House of Representatives recesses this week, it reconvene the week of Monday, November 17th, 2025, unless sooner recalled by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Ordered that the clerk present the same to the House of Representatives for its concurrence.
Will the House concur in the resolution of the Senate? Those in favor of the resolution will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Resolution is concurred in. The clerk will inform the Senate accordingly. Members, please take your seats. We are about to take up a condolence resolution honoring a deceased former member. Members, please take your seats. Sergeant at Arms will close the doors of the House. Members, please take your seats. Sergeant at Arms will clear the aisles. We're about to take up a condolence resolution honoring deceased former member Catherine Katie True of Lancaster County. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Resolution 360, printer's number 2529 on page 1 of the uncontested House calendar. Will the House agree to the resolution? The clerk will read the resolution.
A resolution noting with sadness the death of the Honorable Catherine Katie True, former 8-term member of the House of Representatives from Lancaster County, who died October 7, 2025. Whereas Katie True was born January 16, 1941 in Baltimore, Maryland, the daughter of George and Henriette Buck, and whereas Miss True was a 1958 graduate of J.P. McCaskey High School, Lancaster County, and whereas in June 2024, Miss True's husband, Peter True, preceded her in death, and whereas 6 sons, 12 grandchildren, and 11 great-grandchildren survive her, and whereas the House of Representatives extends its sincere condolences to the True family, and whereas the House of Representatives further commends Ms. True's effectiveness as a public servant in the Commonwealth's legislative and executive branches, and whereas Ms. True first won election to the 37th District of the House of Representatives in 1992, and whereas her faithful service for the benefit of Lancaster County, the Lancaster delegation, and all residents of this Commonwealth continued through 2000. And whereas, after an unsuccessful run for the State Auditor General and a 2-year term as Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Commission for Women, Ms. True returned to the General Assembly. And whereas, committed to accomplishing more as a legislator, Ms. True won election to the newly created 41st District seat in 2002. And whereas Ms. True represented the 41st District with distinction through 2010. And whereas June 20th, 2011, Ms. True was confirmed by the Senate as Commissioner of Professional and Occupational Affairs. And whereas in August 2013, Governor Corbett announced Ms. True's selection as Secretary of Legislative Affairs. And whereas you get passionate about something and you jump right in, Ms. True said that year. And whereas for Ms. True, this encompassed matters relating to independent living, human trafficking, penalties, and legal substitute addresses relative to domestic abuse, adoption consent, child protective services, and substance abuse prevention and recovery. And whereas Ms. True is remembered as an experienced advocate a consensus builder, and a compassionate, responsible leader among peers. Therefore, be it resolved that the House of Representatives note with sadness the death of the Honorable Catherine Katie True, former 8-term member of the House of Representatives from Lancaster County, who died October 7, 2025, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be transmitted to the True family.
Chair would like to recognize family that is present here today to the left of the chair, Representative Katie True's family and guests for the condolence resolution. We are joined by a good friend of the chair and many in this room, her son, Peter Trufanostock, son Eric True, daughter-in-law Ruth Ann True, and other members of the family, Nadia Trufanostock, granddaughter, Dana Hark-Reeder, granddaughter, Chelsea True, granddaughter, our former colleague in the House and former Senator Ryan Ament. Also joining us, Kendra Riley, Jen Darija, Lori Clark, Kim Chrysler, Rebecca Sollenberger, and Sheila Bourne. Please rise and be recognized. Thank you for being here as we honor your mother, grandmother, and friend. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Lancaster County, Representative Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my sad but great honor to rise in support of House Resolution 360, honoring the life and legacy of former State Representative Catherine True, or as everyone knew her, Katie True. A colleague to those who were privileged to work with her, a boss for those who had the privilege of working for her, a friend to all who knew her, and a beloved family member to those in her family. Thank you to all the members for your kind attention today. I'm joined by State Representative Mindy Fee, whose district Katie True once represented, and by State Representative Brian Cutler, who had the privilege of being a colleague of hers right here in the House. To each of you, thank you so much for coming. And to the family members, we thank you for sharing Representative True with us. And for the co-workers, thank you for serving with Representative True. Your presence here means so much. May each of you have grace, peace, and comfort at this time. For my part, I want to focus on Katie as the person who represented the 41st Legislative District in Lancaster County, the district where I have been privileged to represent over the past 11 years. Close to 30 years ago, I got to know Representative True when I was just getting involved in local politics. From my first meeting and through all my interactions with her through the years, Katie was always professional, always community-minded, always guided by principles, and always strong in her commitments and pursuit of what she believed in. As was read in the House resolution, which quotes Representative True saying, quote, "You get passionate about something and you jump in," unquote. I can personally attest that this statement sums up Katie's public service. Whether it was in her service representing the 37th and the 41st districts, or in her service as Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Commission for Women, or in her service as Commissioner of Professional and Occupational Affairs, or in her service as Governor Corbett's Secretary of Legislative Affairs, Representative True pursued each of these roles with that same professionalism, principle, and passion that marked her entire career. Katie was, to me, a role model. She was very involved in the community, and when she spoke with clarity and focus. She was caring, honest, and direct, and set a very high standard of herself in her efforts on behalf of those she served. In closing, it was my honor to have known Katie and her late husband, Pete. Many facets of our community in East Hempfield Township, Lancaster County, and indeed the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania have been positively affected by Katie's leadership and service. And many people in this chamber today, as well as in all the arenas where she served, will long have fond memories of her caring nature, her generosity, and her genuine desire to help others. May all the family members and friends gathered here to honor Katie receive the esteem and appreciation from each member assembled here today, and indeed, the esteem of a grateful Pennsylvania. Now I'd like to turn it over to Representative Fee.
Chair recognizes Gentlelady Representative Fee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm honored to speak in fond remembrance of former Representative Katie True. As a predecessor serving in the 37th Legislative District, Katie was well loved in my community. Still today, if you hear the name Katie True, everybody smiles and has a really wonderful story about her. But my respect for her began well before my tenure in this Pennsylvania House. I would hear stories from my late father-in-law, who was a Democrat representative from the Western Pennsylvania, Lawrence County. And although he and Katie only served a short time together, he talked of how Katie willingly worked with him to get bills passed, even though she was a staunch Lancaster County Republican. When my late husband, Tommy, first began to think about running for mayor or for MDJ, you guessed it, Katie was there. She worked behind the scenes to help him lay the groundwork. I mention these things just to demonstrate that Katie, although a champion of conservative values, always valued people over party. When I decided to run for the State House, the first thing my father-in-law said to me was, well, you better make sure Katie True's on your side or you're a goner. So you can only imagine my first call, one of my first calls was to Katie. She cheered me on from day one, and she provided so much practical help and mentorship. I hope I'm as committed to helping other people get ahead as she was. I'm honored to join with my colleagues today in remembering a wonderful woman who left a lasting legacy of kindness and effectiveness. May God bless her family and her loved ones.
Chair thanks the gentlelady, recognizes the former chair, the current Republican chair of education, Representative Cutler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I had the privilege of serving with Representative True, and through our discussions, we came to the realization that there's actually not many of us left in this chamber that had that privilege. So I'd like to share briefly my experiences with her. I sat right in the middle row back there where some of our Lancaster County colleagues still sit, and Katie sat right next to me. And I will be very honest, I beat an incumbent to get here, so I wasn't sure how I would be accepted. But I can tell you that Katie accepted me with open arms, and immediately her mother instincts kicked in. She wanted to make sure that I was okay. She wanted to make sure that I understood what was going on. And she would give me the commentary as bills were running. She'd give me the past history, what had happened with those bills before. And I greatly appreciated it. In fact, as was spoken previously, Representative True, her love for the Commonwealth went well beyond her service here into the various roles that she held. But I will tell you that it even held long after she retired officially from the public world. She was one of the first people to always call and encourage me. As I was in leadership, she was also one of the first people to show up at any events that I would have. And she was always a pleasure to deal with. For me, I think it was a distinct honor to have her as a role model. She certainly influenced the representative who I became. And I will share a line that another prior colleague of ours once said. On my election night victory, I received a call from a former member, and he told me through the phone, he goes, "You need to understand something. When you win the election, you get the right to be called state representative. Whether or not you are called the honorable is up to you." And that, to me, is Katie True. She served with honor, she served with distinction, and she is a wonderful role model for all of us as we remember her here today. And to the family specifically, I know that her years of service, specifically the statewide campaign, took a lot of time, because she would tell me about driving from the far reaches of the Commonwealth, as many of us ourselves have experienced. And for you to serve with her as you gave up that time with her means a lot, because the Commonwealth was a better place for it, and I know that heaven is now too. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the members of the Lancaster delegation. The chair had the privilege of serving with Katie, and the only thing I'll say about Katie is this: she had a look. She gave you that look. She gave you a look. And we can say a lot of nice things and good accolades about Katie, but I think the one thing that comes to mind when I think of Katie True is she was good people. She was good people. So we thank the family for sharing her. Those in favor of the resolution will rise and remain standing for a moment with silence as a mark of respect for the deceased former member. Guests will also please rise. The resolution has been unanimously adopted. Sergeants at Arms will open the doors of the House. Chair recognizes Representative Samuelson, Chair of the Committee on Finance, who reports the following bills. HB 1900 reported as amended. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The Chair recognizes Representative Samuelson, Chair of the Committee on Finance, who reports the following bills with a request that they be re-referred. House Bill 1214 to the Committee on Local Government. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. Have the members' attention. Have some guests to recognize in the gallery. When you are recognized, we'd ask that you please rise. Representative Mullins from the 112th Legislative District of Lackawanna County as guests welcomes the members of the American College of Physicians to the House. The American College of Physicians is the largest medical specialty organization in the United States, representing over 160,000 interests and trainees. The Pennsylvania chapter represents internal medicine physicians across 3 regions, advocating for evidence-based policy and professional development. Will the guests of Representative Mullins please rise and be recognized? Thank you for being here. Representative Craig Stats and Shelby Labs of the 145th and 143rd Legislative Districts in Bucks County have guests. Welcome students from Penn Ridge High School and German exchange students who toured the Capitol earlier today. Please rise and be recognized. Thank you for being here. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Resolution 309, printers number 2377 on page 11 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the resolution.
A resolution designating the month of October 2025 and October 2026 as Wine, Wineries, and Grapes Month in Pennsylvania, introduced by Representative Rob Matzey.
Will the House agree to the resolution? Those in favor of the resolution will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on the resolution. The ayes are 197, the nays are 6. The resolution is adopted. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 1123, printers number 2414 on page 3 of today's House calendar. Clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill requires health insurance policies to cover colorectal cancer screenings beginning at age 45.
Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 1828, printers number 2415 on page 3 of today's House calendar. Clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill protects access to immunization in Pennsylvania.
Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 1977, printers number 2497 on page 1 of Supplemental Calendar A. Clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill provides an appropriation for the 2025-2026 fiscal year within the Department of Education.
Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader, who calls up House Bill 1978, printers number 2498 on page 1 of Supplemental Calendar A. Clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill provides an appropriation for the 2025-2026 fiscal year within the Executive Department of the Commonwealth.
Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader, who calls up House Bill 1979, printers number 2499 on page 2 of Supplemental Calendar A. Clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill provides an appropriation for the 2025-2026 fiscal year within the Department of Human Services.
Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader, who calls up Senate Bill 748, printers number 0919 on page 2 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill increases the fees paid for river pilot services on the Delaware River and Bay beginning in 2026.
Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The chair recognizes the Majority Leader, who calls up House Bill 1063, printers number 2408 on page 2 of Supplemental Calendar B. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Clerk will read the title and brief description of the bill.
This bill prohibits the use of software known as Grinch bots or scalper bots that automatically purchase event tickets and resell them for a higher price.
This bill has been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass finally? On that question, Chair recognizes the prime sponsor of the legislation, the gentleman from Montgomery, Gentleman Representative Malagari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of House Bill 1063. Mr. Speaker, I want you to think back to your first concert that you ever went to, how excited you were to get those tickets, the effort you went through to get them. Maybe you slept out at the box office the night before, or set up a lawn chair and waited in line for hours. Maybe when the internet was still young, you sat with your credit card number ready and your finger on the enter button, just waiting for that sale to start. And that feeling when your patience and planning paid off and you finally got those tickets, that was pure joy. Sadly, those days are gone. Now you're not just competing against other fans for the best seats, you're competing against an army of Grinch bots. Grinch bots are automated programs that create artificial scarcity for in-demand products and services. They manipulate online markets by buying up tickets, goods, and other items faster than any human ever could, leaving everyday consumers locked out and frustrated. Scalping and price gouging aren't new problems. We all know that, but these bots have made them far worse. During the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, the pre-sale a few years ago, thousands of Pennsylvanians filed complaints with the Attorney General's office after Ticketmaster canceled public ticket sales. Bots flooded the system, snapping up tickets in seconds. Some were later listed for as much as 70 times their original value. Ticketmaster cited a staggering number of bot attacks, in quotes, and ultimately worked with then Attorney General Shapiro's office to reopen legitimate sales for real fans. And it's not just tickets. These bots are making it hard to get high-demand products like sneakers or the latest Pokemon cards or newly released video games and consoles. The holiday season has arrived. Halloween is just a few days away, and whatever this year's hot Christmas present turns out to be or Hanukkah gift, it's going to be even harder to find because of these scalpers. Consumers aren't the only ones losing out. Artists, venues, retailers, and service providers also suffer. They're the ones dealing with the anger and reputational damage when bad actors use technology to cheat customers. That's why so many in the entertainment and retail industries are asking for stronger protections. Current regulations are simply not enough. It's been over a decade since we've had any legislation on this issue. Technology has evolved, and scammers have evolved with it. And in 2025, despite new security measures, bots continue to find ways around them. It's time to update and strengthen the law, tighten the definition of bots, clarifying rules around electronic queues and waiting periods, and expanding coverage to address new forms of online fraud. This legislation makes it a crime not only to use bots to bypass online purchasing systems or buy in bulk, but also to do so with intent to resell at inflated prices. So as more shopping and services move online, the need for strong digital consumer protection only grew. It will only grow. And we're continuing this conversation because we must. Protecting consumers in our digital economy isn't optional. It's essential. So right now the scalpers are winning and everyone else is losing. So this bill will help us fight back. I ask for an affirmative vote. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman for his thorough explanation. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. All the members voted. All the members voted. All the members voted. Clerk will record the vote on the final passage of the bill. The yeas are 169, the nays are 34. Majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes finally, and the clerk will present the same to the Senate for concurrence. House will come to order. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 1860, printers number 2522 on page 1 of Supplemental Calendar B. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill permits certain sales finance employees to work remotely.
This bill has been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass finally? On that question, Chair recognizes the prime sponsor of the legislation, gentlelady from Allegheny, Representative Salisbury. Representative Salisbury, please suspend before you begin. Members, please come to order. Gentlelady deserves to be heard. Chair thanks the chamber. Gentlelady may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of HB 1860 to modernize our motor vehicle sales finance laws by recognizing remote work as a legitimate and regulated component of our commerce landscape. This legislation provides clarity and structure for remote work within the industry. As our economy in Pennsylvania evolves, so must our statutes. House Bill 1860 would ensure that Pennsylvania businesses can operate efficiently and securely in a modern digital environment while maintaining consumer protection and regulatory oversight. By passing this legislation, we affirm our commitment to innovation, economic competitiveness, and responsible governance, and I urge my colleagues to please vote yes. Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. This bill has been considered on 3 different days. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? On the final passage of the bill, the yeas are 203, the nays are 0. The majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes finally, and the clerk will present the same to the Senate for concurrence. Chair recognizes the majority leader who calls up House Bill 1862, printers number 2416 on page 2 of supplemental calendar B. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The clerk will read the title and brief description of the bill.
This bill reforms and streamlines administrative and application procedures related to ignition interlock system.
This bill has been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass finally? Agreeable to provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on the final passage of the bill. The yeas are 203, the nays are 0. The majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes finally, and the clerk will present the same to the Senate for concurrence. Chair recognizes the majority leader who calls up House Bill 1882, printers number 2342 on page 1 of supplemental calendar B. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The clerk will read the title and brief description of the bill.
This bill requires 16-point font for reverse mortgage disclosures and requiring branch managers to be licensed as mortgage originators.
Bill has been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass finally? On that question, Chair recognizes the prime sponsor of the legislation, the gentleman from Bucks, Representative Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to be very brief, I do ask for support of 1882, and other than that, I will submit my comments for the record.
Most popular legislator of the day. The chair thanks the gentleman. Agreeable with the provisions of the Constitution, yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on the final passage of the bill. The yeas are 104, the nays 99. The majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes finally, and the clerk will present the same to the Senate for concurrence. Majority Leader moves the following bills be recommitted to the Committee on Appropriations: House Bill 1123, House Bill 1828, House Bill 1977, House Bill 1978, House Bill 1979, Senate Bill 748. The Majority Leader moves that the following bills be removed from the tabled calendar and placed on the active calendar: House Bill 1961, House Bill 1980, House Bill 1990, House Bill 1995. Chair is in receipt of a motion by the gentleman from Bucks, Representative Monroe, that the House now adjourn until Wednesday, October 29th, 2025 at 11 a.m. unless sooner recalled by the Speaker. The question is on the motion. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. And the House stands adjourned until Wednesday, October 29th, 2025 at 11 a.m. unless sooner recalled by the Speaker.